Oh, hello everybody, this is Steve at Winterbourne Workshop again. Right, today on the lathe I've got a piece of hardwood, a Roko I think, but I'm not entirely sure. Came as a job lot of wood, and I'm going to make a little threaded pot, that's the idea. It's for a new baby that was born in July. And they're on a sailing ship, the family, called Melody, and basically they've sold up everything, bought a sailing vessel, and well, they're going to sail. And I've already made a few bits and pieces for them, so I thought as a little present I'd make this. I'm also going to make a little ash bowl for eating out of. So yeah, let's get this centered, mounted up, and right, so getting this to round, got to switch the camera on, which is typical. Just using a spindle roughing gauge. Almost there. Let's have a look at it now. Still a tiny bit of a flat there, as long as you're going to need a lid and a base. So I'll put those on now. This will go into small shark jaws. Peel and cut for that. And then we'll just part off the lid. It's got a bit of an aniseedy smell, this, so I guess you wood pundits out there will probably know what it is. Just loosen up the towel stock. Right. Pop that over there. We'll do the base first. Right, so I'm going to smooth this up with a spindle gouge. This wood doesn't seem to favour a skew chisel very much. Clean the face up, and then we'll hollow it out. Using the spindle gauge again. Get this just Just a little bit of an indent in there. You can go in with a drill. Right, all set up for hollowing out. I'll just start off with that same spindle gauge. What I'll do now is just go in there with a radius scraper. Take a look at that. I just need to get a bit more off the bottom and side. Just pushing this scraper out a bit, so I'll just raise the tool rest a bit. You can do that. Right, so it's probably given me half an inch at the bottom. Let's have a look. A bit more than half an inch. Let's take a bit more out. Right, well that looks fairly decent. The next thing I need to do is get a relief slot right at the back here for the thread to fall into. It's no good having the thread, well, you can't thread all the way up to this shoulder, so consequently you leave yourself with a step, so there's always be a gap when you try and screw the lid on. Somewhere I've got a little tool specifically for that purpose, and if you can see that it's just got this little notch at the end there, so I can go in and just get myself that relief hole. Raise this rest a bit. Not quite square on the back, so it's pushing it away. I'll just go in there with this. Square that shoulder up. That was a skew chisel just used there. And back end of this, so butt it up to the shoulder. I've now got a relief slot in there about 1.5 millimeters, so now I can thread into that. So let's get all set up for threading this piece, and I'll be back. some beeswax on it. So that's the bottom done, apart from whipping the tenon off. And I should just, oh, I can't quite get it on there. I'm going to have to find another way of gripping that to get the tenon off. Right, what do we do with our lid? So on this one we need to put the tenon on the inside. And the first thing I'll do is just clean this up. Right. That does give us enough space. So the thread, like I said, has got to go on the inside. So what we need to do is take a millimetre off to allow for the thread. So make it a millimetre smaller. In fact, I'll make it 2 millimetres. And mark that up. Right, that's the inside of those marks. To do that, I'm going to have to move the camera, otherwise I'm going to get in the way and you won't see a thing, which some of you might think is a good thing. Right, let's move the camera then. Right, camera moved, back again. So the first thing we need to do, get a scraper in there and go up to the inside of those marks. So this should now be slightly bigger. Yeah, slightly bigger than the shoulder. So that will allow me to get a thread in there. But before I do that, I also need to be able to get a grip on this again. So I can go in there a bit deeper, but just slightly short of that thread, or the shoulder. Create this like a tenon, a recess, and a cut. So we'll just check that, make sure that will actually fit in there. Yeah, perfect. bits inside. Right, I just need to clean that up. And for that, I'll make sure I'm square in. Use a 1/2 inch chisel down to that shoulder, and then go in. Just cut a relief, like so. So I want to just go in and round the bottom out a bit. And down there. So now we should be all set up to put a thread on. So let's get the thread and jig set up again. Right, all set up for threading. So this time we're going to be threading the inside. Same routine. So down to about 500. So I'm not quite touching yet, so let's pull that a bit closer. I have to take the cutter out of the way as well, otherwise there's not enough room to get the box in. To see if we've got enough thread yet. Of course you can't take the other one off, and end up moving everything. So it's not there yet, in fact we've got quite a little way to go as yet. Whack it back on. Wind it back in. And advance one more. Right, all set up for sanding. We'll be turning it in reverse. And a slow start so it doesn't spin off when I stop it. Starting at 180. Speed up a bit. Sand a bit of a chamfer against the thread. Done. Same routine, start at 180. Right, so all ready to go again. We got that rechucked after a lot of fiddling about. The little bit of sanding I done in there actually rounded the chucking point off. So anyway, we got it on the shark jaws, so we'll just take this top out, speed up a bit. So I didn't like the scrape much on the end grain, I don't think. So we'll do another pass back in with a spindle gouge. See what that looks like. Right, so that's much better. Just give it a quick blast with some 180. Right, that feels good. Polish my bed up. So what I'm going to do, there's a bit of texture on here. This little Simon Hope texturing tool, it's just the little mini one. The tool rests down a bit. Turn the speed down. 600. So that should have given us a nice spiral, which it has. I'll come in at a slightly steeper angle. Right, that's super duper. So now what I'm going to do is just go in at the corner of this skew, just to demark the regions. Right. That all feels quite good. So, nice little spiral pattern on there, and a slightly larger one, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, and then orange peely on the outside, which will highlight better once you get some oil on there. So now I just need to take the foot off this, and that won't fit in there, will it? Spindle gauge again, speed up. So we haven't got too much of a hold, so we don't want to be too aggressive. So I'm going to get some lockskin hemp oil into this. That will really soak in, which is what I want. Probably swell that grain a bit. That is just slightly on the loose side. Slap it on because I know it will soak it in. Which is already. Yeah, well, there it is, finished. Well, not quite, but finished as far as you guys are concerned. You don't want to see any more of the messing about. It literally will be a couple of days, let that harden off. Maybe put some more on, just depends if there's any excess that hasn't soaked in, and then I'll whack it back on the lathe and get some beeswax on it. Well, look, thanks very much for watching. Like and share if you actually like the video, and subscribe, that would be great. I don't do this for money, I'm not monetizing my channel, I'm just doing it out of interest really. So I'll see how many of you are actually interested. Right, bye till next time.